everyone, it's Gina from orchidandopal.com, and today I'm back with the August 2022 Bargain Bead Box Monthly Subscription. This one is a really great deal at just $19.50 a month. It includes gemstone beads, glass beads, and coordinating metallic components, all in a specific theme and color scheme that I think is great for newer beaders and seasoned beaders alike. Before we get into it, I will leave the link to this subscription right down below the video, and I have a coupon code if you'd like to try them out. It is Opal2, and that will save you $2 off your very first month. And if you're in the US, there is no additional shipping cost for this subscription. So let's go ahead and get into it and see what our theme is this month. And it says our theme this month is called Farmhouse Fresh. So we're going to be looking at some cool country colors, white and gray, coordinating with some fresh green, a touch of earthy brown tones. It talks about some of the items we're about to see, including at the bottom it says we've also sent a pair of succulent shaped polymer clay cabochons as a fun bonus. That sounds really cool. Also on this sheet is a coupon code that they send every month. You can use that at their sister site, the online store Beadbox Bargains. They've got all sorts of beading closeout items, tons of great deals that I also share here on a regular basis. And if you make something from your subscription, you can submit a photo to their email address or Facebook and randomly enter to win a credit to their online shop. So that's something they run regularly also. On the back of the sheet, we have the list of everything that's included in lots of detail. And you can see there's 22 different items that we're going to look at, which is amazing for a subscription of this cost because that means things average out to less than $1 per baggie or strand that we're going to see. And bringing back our bundle, here is a sneak peek of how everything comes packaged, and we are going to take a look at everything going down the list one at a time. In bag number 1, we have 2 pieces of 26 by 19 millimeter glass leaf pendants. I really like these. I've seen these before. They have that sort of jade green appearance and the carved details. I think I used these before at the bottom of a pair of earrings. They look really pretty dangling down in that way. So that gets us started with some of our green for this month. And then to set the tone for our findings, we have bag number 2 containing approximately 1 meter of 3 by 1 millimeter steel Rolo jewelry chain. And here's a close-up look at that. And if you have been a subscriber to the Bargain Bead Box for a while, or maybe you've watched these unboxings for a while, you know that we probably haven't seen the gunmetal tone of finish in the findings. We see a lot of other tones show up in these subscriptions, but this is something new and different, so that's awesome. You can see this deep sort of hematite color in this Rolo chain, and you get a ton of it to work with to use across different projects. And it will coordinate with our other findings that we're going to see show up in this subscription, which is great, especially if you don't already own a lot of findings in this color. This subscription will provide you with a lot of those things to get you started. In our third bag, we have a 7.5-inch strand of 8 millimeter coconut shell wood rondelle beads. So these are definitely bringing in that darker wooden sort of earthy material and color to this Farmhouse Fresh palette like they talked about. These are sort of lightweight because of the material that they are made of, and they're all just slightly different in terms of their thicknesses. And these are something you can use to combine with other glass or gemstone beads if you want to add more of a casual feel or an earthiness. These will also be great in more masculine jewelry and cord or macrame projects. In bag number 4, we have 6 pieces of 12 millimeter glass round beads. So these have a very milk white appearance, almost ceramic looking, opaque white, chunkier in their size, and right away something that comes to mind because I'm on a beaded bead kick from a sweet viewer who asked me about them is that you might be able to use these as a base for a beaded bead, one that you actually bead around and on top of as a sort of a blank or a base for that because of their size and the fact that they are just a solid white. Not to say that you couldn't use these just how they are. In our fifth bag, we have two pieces of 52 by 21.5 millimeter key pendants. I always like the key findings, and I like how you can find them in so many different designs with the details, especially at the back of the key. These have that scroll work like design, lots of openings there too if you really want to get creative and use those to add additional detail. And of course, they match our tone of findings for this month, and I love the fact that we get two, not just one. Bag number 6 contains 4 pieces of 32 by 25 millimeter swirled chandelier components. And again, generous quantity in our bags, and these are a larger type of component. You could use these for a pair of statement chandelier earrings that got tons of openings, not just where the loops are where you could connect your beadwork, but also inside the design itself. And of course, you could use these in multi-strand necklace designs and use these to separate the different strands, not just in an earring application. And you could also use one of these as a pendant, perhaps with some strands hanging down. Our seventh bag contains 10 grams of 13 by 19 millimeter swirled links. And lots of these to work with as well. They coordinate nicely, not just in terms of their metal tone, but also just their swirling design. It really goes well with some of these other findings that we've taken a look at. And these, of course, provide so many different options in terms of use, just like the larger components, but these are even more versatile because of their smaller size. Next up in bag number 8, we have 20 pieces of 9 millimeter scalloped bead caps. Another helpful basic to have that coordinates with our findings this month, we have this sort of dotted design, and these bead caps are a little bit larger, so maybe they would lend themselves well to some of the larger size beads that we have in this month's package. In bag number 9, we have approximately a 14-inch strand of 3.5 by 3 millimeter crystal rondelle beads in grayscale mix. And we have these dainty faceted crystal rondelles with their opaque color. And you can see there's 3 different colors included in this mix, from the white to the gray, and then we have black. And of course, you could use these together, or you could cut up the strand and use the color separately if you wanted to do that. Next in bag 10, we have 2 pieces of 14 by 12 millimeter handmade porcelain sheep beads. Those are really cool. I like the metallic detail that they have, and it's not so obvious what they are unless you take a closer look at them. They have more of an abstract appearance, but you can definitely tell what they are going for with the sheep design, and there's a look at the whole placement going up and down through the bead. Our 11th bag contains 5 pieces of 15 by 10 millimeter swirled tab beads. These are solid metal beads, again with our scroll-like design, which coordinates with our other findings in terms of the design. And you can see where the hole is placed going up and down through the length of the bead. And overall, they are sort of flat with just a hint of a rounded shape on the front and the back. And believe it or not, we're only halfway through the subscription. This is why I think it's such a great deal. We haven't even taken a look at the bulk of the beads that are included in this month's package. And for the cost and the included shipping, it's just an amazing value, I believe. So Let's get into the rest of our little baggies. We still have a lot to look through. We have bag number 12 coming up next, which contains 4 sets of 19.5 by 16 millimeter ornate toggle clasps. These are the same on both sides, and they've also sent us enough to use in several projects. I also have a video, if you hadn't seen it, on multiple ways that you can use toggle clasps besides just using these as a closure. So check that video out too, especially since toggle clasps usually come with all these really unique designs, and you can use these as components in so many other things. In bag 13, we have 10 pieces of 9 by 10 millimeter crystal faceted pear beads in green iris. These are very sparkly and add a little bit more of that grayish tone to our palette. These have a smoky appearance overall and catch the light really beautifully because of their transparency. And you can see they have this slight pear shape. They're not totally round. They're just slightly wider at the bottom than they are at the top. Bag 14 contains approximately 7.5 inches of 8 millimeter natural howlite round beads. I think these are a perfect addition to this theme, and they almost have a marble-like appearance the way you see the deeper tones of gray running through that creamy white, and I can see how these will look really nice with the tone of findings that we have this month, really matching that deeper charcoal gray tone that is a beautiful contrast to this white. In bag 15, we have 10 pieces of 10 millimeter howlite English cut faceted round beads. Aren't these beautiful? I love that English cut. It's a rougher cut look overall, but I think it tends to show off the different striations of the gemstone beads differently than you would get in, say, a round, and it adds a different texture too. Next, in bag 16, this is what they're calling a bonus. It contains 2 pieces of approximately 22 millimeter polymer clay succulent cabochons. Oh my goodness, these are so fun. And there's something I would think you could even use in other crafting projects, not just, say, jewelry making, but they really have done a great job with the coloration of these, adding that little bit of salmon pink brushed on top of that fresh green color at the base. They really do look like succulents. And there's a look at what the back looks like. Next, in bag 17, I don't need to take these out. This one contains 100 pieces of 3.2 millimeter steel spacer beads in the gunmetal finish. Just basic round spacers, another basic component that matches our findings and something helpful to have if you don't have this tone of metal in a spacer bead currently. Then we have package 18 containing a pair of 13.5 by 10 millimeter surgical steel ear studs with loop in the gunmetal finish. So they've also included a pair of earring findings as well. These are in that really deep dark tone with that bit of a hammered sort of detail. They include the backs as well. They're kind of on the thinner side, and then they have that loop hanging at the bottom where you could attach additional beads or components. And next, in bag 19, we have another focal. This is an approximately 48 to 55 millimeter natural howlite slab pendant. This is a very substantial piece. It's got a large hole at the top as well. It's kind of asymmetrical the way that it's cut, and it really shows off a lot of that marbleized howlite material with that charcoal gray running through different parts of that white. And I'm sure all these are going to be a little bit different because they are a natural material, and you could leave this as it is or add some additional wire work around it. But how great is that to get such a substantial component like this in a lower cost subscription? Up next in package 20, we have 20 pieces of 8mm green line jasper faceted round beads. Yet another strand of stone beads, and these have a mossy green appearance overall. They've got different shades from your really lighter tones of sage green to those deeper, darker shades and everything in between. And this is yet another size for us to work with too. They include a lot of the not only different shapes, but different sizes of even the basic shapes to work with, which helps everything that you get in these packages to blend and mix well together so you can make multiple pieces. Next, we have bag 21. This one contains an 8-inch strand of 6x4mm crystal rondelle beads in sea green jade. That is a very beautiful, fresh, light spearmint green color. Not really transparent, but still grabbing some of the light, kind of a creamy glass with the faceting that sparkles beautifully and gives us a lighter shade of green to mix into this palette. And finally, bag number 22 contains 20 pieces of 35mm 24 gauge brass ball head pins. These are another item I really don't need to take out, just a helpful finding to have that coordinates with our palette. I like that additional ball detail at the bottom, makes it look like a finished little bead down there once you string something else onto these. And I'm sure they will really come in handy. So that wraps it up for our August 2022 bargain bead box in the really unique Farmhouse Fresh theme. I think they did a wonderful job. And just like we've come to expect, we have so many different things to work with that we can put together, creating multiple pieces from just the contents that we see here. We have multiple focal components, various sizes of gemstone beads, pops of different shades of green, and just a fantastic assortment for just $19.50 a month. So consistently, Bargain Bead Box sends an array of items just like this, and every month the theme and the color scheme is totally different. So it's always a fun surprise to see what they've included. And I think it's a great way to work with different things, maybe that you didn't specifically pick out. That's a great way to really step outside of your comfort zone and try something new. Getting something different each month is also a great way to build up your stash over time, and I really can't recommend this subscription enough. So if you'd like to try them out and you haven't already, you can use that coupon code OPAL2 to save $2 off your first month, and that and the link to the subscription will be right down below the video. I'd love to hear your thoughts about the subscription, so feel free to leave a comment down below. Give the video a big thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and if you like checking out these items up close. Don't forget to subscribe while you're here, and stay tuned for future videos, especially a future finished jewelry update where I will hopefully share some finished pieces directly from these contents. But that is all I have for now. I hope you all have a fabulous rest of your day. Thank you so much for watching, and as always, happy beading.